All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get started since it's Friday and you probably want to be out of the office or away from webinars and do something fun for the weekend. So, guys, I'm super excited to have Eric Hardwick and John Bullard Jr. with us. Eric's a last-minute addition, but I welcome both of you guys. These guys have been instrumental in a lot of my success, and I'll have them say hi here in a second. But so we're going to. This is the fifth of 6 private label trainings of the webinar series. Today we are talking about getting sales and reviews. And so, but first I want to introduce the fellows that are here. John Bullard Jr. is one of my favorite guys because he founded MM8, which is my mastermind group that I'm a part of. I'm just thrilled to be a part of this group. These guys are awesome, and John is the one that we credit for founding it. He found us all at CES1 in Orlando, and eventually then right after that called us and got us all together, and so that's been a lot of fun. But John has 16 years of selling online experience. Actually started with Pokemon cards, him and his dad did. And then he's developed so many different businesses after that, doing private label, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. He and his family, they have a My Inventory team, which is a bulk inventory closeout business, and they also have My Fulfillment team. If you guys need a place for prep and ship, send it to the Bullards in Tennessee. It's myfulfillmentteam.com. John's a great guy, and it's just a pleasure to have him on with us. Also, we have Eric Hardwick. He is out in Washington, and last year I think sold like $3.5 million in sales. So it's just crazy. Eric's a guy that I look up to for the business that he's built and the team that he has around him. He has like 8 or 10 employees. His dad helps him out. His dad does a lot of his retail arbitrage now, and so he's just a real blessing to a lot of people in that area, giving them jobs. And I've learned a lot from him as well. If you guys want to have a warehouse, a big business, Eric's the guy to follow. He's also the founder of TrainedVAs.com. If you need a VA for pretty much anything in your business, but especially for online arbitrage, Eric's the guy for that. Go to trainedvas.com and he can hook you up with a VA that's trained to know exactly what to look for. You can give him the parameters as far as the rank, the ROI, the categories that you want, and they'll find them and get them to you. So, guys, it's a pleasure to have you on. I think your mics are still muted, so feel free to unmute those and jump in at any time. I'm going to go ahead and get into the presentation, but I'll give you guys permission to interject at any time that you want to on this, so because these guys know what they're talking about when we talk about sales and reviews. So for all of you that are on here, you did it. Congratulations. This is a big stepping stone. This is a big milestone. It feels like a lot of everything that you've done so far is a ton of work, and it is. And there's still work to be done, but there's a huge feeling of relief once you get your product. You can see it in person, and you have the ability to send it into Amazon. So I really think that this is where the actual fun begins. To me, when you see your product live on Amazon, it's such a cool feeling, and it's just a real blessing. And then when you start to see sales come in, if you guys remember the very first sale that you had for on Amazon, you got that email that said, seller notification, Amazon has shipped your item. It's the same exact feeling with your first private label. It's like starting all over again. It's so fun. So I really feel like this is where the fun starts. And also, I need to mention, guys, if there's if the screen is blurry or anything, also I've heard a lot of folks say that the YouTube link is actually a little bit clearer. And let me post that here real quick for you. So there's a YouTube link if you decide to go over to YouTube and watch this. You just won't be able to participate in the chat if you're not in the regular Google Hangouts, but YouTube can be clear. All right, so let's jump in. So there's many ways to promote your products during the launch and after. So here's a huge list of different ways that you can promote your products. I've only done 3 of these, but there's just so many different options. So Facebook, you can do Facebook ads. When you're launching a product, you essentially want to start with coupon codes, and we'll get into this. but you create coupon codes on Amazon, and it can be 50% off. It can be free. We've learned as a group, just doing this together, having products as MMA, we've learned that you don't want to do completely free, but a nice discount really makes a big difference. You'll get people to actually to jump on it. But you could run Facebook ads to your to either a landing page, which we'll show you here in a minute, one that John and Eric have created. But you could send people right to your Amazon listing as well if you'd like. Don't recommend that, but and we'll explain that in a minute. But Facebook ads is one way to get your product launched and just to tell the world that, hey, you have it and that you are looking for people that want to get it at a discount. Google ads, I've done this before. It's not my favorite way. I've noticed that it really hurts conversions if you're taking an ad on Google and putting it onto directly to your Amazon product page. But you would want to send it to a landing page, and we'll show you one here in a minute as well. YouTube, John, you're welcome to talk about this if you want, or I know that you had a what was that service?
There's a bunch of different services out there, even for some of these other things now, like Pinterest and Instagram. But for like YouTube, there's a site called FameBit, and you can go in there and put an ad in saying you're looking to have like someone to do a review of your product. You kind of can see what kind of audience they have, see if the demographics kind of match your product.
Okay.
And they'll just apply to do a product review on YouTube for you. And you can go and look and see out of the people that apply who you're interested in, and you can negotiate a price. They have similar things now for like Instagram and Pinterest. I think they have things called like shout outs for Instagram. And you can do the same thing. You can kind of have people apply, or you can contact people that are in that niche that you think have the audience you're looking to target.
Very cool. And just so you know, guys, Google owns YouTube. And so if you ever Google something and there's a YouTube video for it, typically that YouTube video is going to be near the top. It may be the actual first listing that comes up when you're Googling something. So YouTube is so powerful. Video is so powerful. So video reviews have been a really big strategy for some of the stuff that we've launched. And then direct mail, some of these are just kind of obviously ways you could do it, but not reasons I would suggest, or ways to suggest doing this. Direct mail is kind of expensive, but it is a way that you could promote your product and get people to get sales and reviews. John mentioned Instagram. I don't know much about Instagram, but I know that people do really well. I think there's even Instagram ads that you can run. Radio, of course, this is just, obviously something that you could do, but not something I would suggest, but it is an option. Review there in the middle. There are review sites, and I'll explain these in a minute, but that you can send you can post your product with the promo code and get people to buy your product at a discount in exchange for an unbiased review.
One of the things that I think is really important in regards to external traffic is you see all these different options here. It can get really overwhelming. So if you think you're at a point where you want to try some of this, just pick one.
That's good.
And try that for a little while, see how it goes. Maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. And then once you've kind of wrapped your head around that new channel, then maybe move on to another one.
That's great advice, because in the last webinar I did, John, I was telling them we were going into creating listings and how you can just get so bogged down in the pictures and all the keywords and stuff. Just get one and put it up there. I mean, it does matter, and a good listing makes a big difference, but don't let that stop you from moving forward. So that's great advice, guys. There's so many different ways. This can look so overwhelming. I've done 3 of these, and currently right now, when I'm doing a product, I typically only do 1 or 2. So don't let this even bother you. This is just an example of what you could be doing to launch a product. I would say get one, like John said, start with one, see if that works, tweak it, test it, then move on if you want to. Amazon sponsored ads is one that I do fairly often. I know John and Eric do as well. It's a great way to collect data, even to collect keywords, to figure out what keywords people are searching for related to your product. Pinterest, get the book Pinterest Power by Jason Miles. He's my good friend, but he's a Pinterest master, and I think there's even Pinterest. Well, I know there's Pinterest ads. I personally have not done Pinterest ads, but I've been on forums and where people have said it's been very powerful, really helped them with launching a product. TV, again, that's kind of one that I wouldn't suggest. Camping life, as we're going through the lessons, I use the camping niche as the example. So this is just showing you that you could post in niche magazines, niche websites, anything that is related to your product or your niche. You could partner with them. That's why I have joint venture partner. So let's say that camping was your niche. Find a camping blog. Find websites that have the people who are the gatekeepers of that audience. Jim Cochran talks a lot about gatekeepers. So who is in charge of these audiences? Partner up with them. Contact the person who runs a camping blog and ask if you can advertise on their site, or if they'd be interested in allowing you to offer your product for free to their audience. There's so many different ways, so many different creative ways to get your product out there. And I imagine there's probably 50 more that could be on this slide. But as John said, don't let this intimidate you. Just pick one or two. Next is, these are the ones that I've personally done. So I've done Google Ads, done review sites, and I've done Amazon. So, John, how many would you say that you've done out of the list? That
I definitely tried all of those options at some point, and I also have tried the YouTube and the FameBit that I mentioned earlier.
Okay.
And also Facebook.
Oh, that's right, Facebook ads. Yeah, that's true. And also, guys, there's so many different ways on Fiverr. I've seen all these Fiverr gigs that they'll do stuff like, there's really crazy stuff too. Like people will put your website on their forehead, or they'll do, like get a fake tattoo. I don't know that those would be very successful. But again, if you were looking for unique ways, creative ways to get your product out there, they're there for sure. So check out Fiverr.com as well. All right, so and then the next is John's Mystery Way. This should actually say John and Eric's Mystery Way. They have teamed up and come out with a lot of really cool extensions for Chrome, and they have one that they're gonna show you here in a little bit. But we'll get to it. But it's a really cool, another way that you can get your product launched, and you wouldn't even have to. You can avoid some of these other ones. This would be the go-to one once you have this set up.
Awesome.
All right, so the first priority, once you guys have your product, you have it into Amazon, it's there, it's waiting, you got your listing created, it's live. The first thing you want to do is get 3 to 5 reviews. And the reason for that, it's social proof. Imagine going to a listing for a product and there's no reviews. It just, you feel like, well, it's either brand new, nobody likes it, nobody's buying it. It's just so important to have at least 3 to 5 reviews on your product as soon as you possibly can. It'll make this process go much faster, much easier. So this is how I launched my very first product. So I contacted 10 to 20 friends through Facebook, and I just sent them the link to my product but I gave them that Amazon promo code, and I'll give you a link to the video that you can actually use that explains it. I could create a video for you, but the folks over at Jungle Scout created a great video that shows you how to create one-time use codes for different review sites, or group codes if you want to have give it out to a bunch of different people and just tell them. The advantage about the group, and I'll get to this in a second, is there's no quantity limit. So if you had 100 in stock, somebody could use the coupon code and buy all 100 that you have, and you'd be out. So that's why you typically want to use the single one-time use codes. But I found 10 to 20 friends on Facebook. I just contacted them by private message and said, hey, I'm launching a new product on Amazon. Could really use your help. In exchange for an unbiased review, you can get it for half off or free. I think I might have even done free. We've learned now that that's probably not the best way to do it. John, what have we learned? Like, you don't want to do much more than like 80–90%.
As far as the percent off?
Yeah, the percent off.
Yeah, it's usually in that window, I would say.
Yeah, Ryan, what I found out from the one of Amazon's representatives is that you don't ever want to go below $1
Okay.
They consider that against their terms of service, even though
Okay.
they didn't really show that to me.
Mm-hmm.
But they just basically consider it giving away for free.
Okay.
And so we don't really do anything below $1.
Okay. Very good to know. So I think the rules have changed a little bit since I first started 3 years ago, and there's different things that I did that you probably wouldn't want to
And
do.
there's also some kind of going back and forth as far as recent changes as far as verified purchases
Mm-hmm.
and how those are perceived by customers.
Okay.
So I think right now the kind of the range is like between 50 or 51% off is
Mm-hmm.
kind of where a lot of people are saying it's considered a verified purchase versus not verified.
Okay. Okay.
And I guess why people would want to know whether it's verified or not is if it's not verified, a lot of people think that the people are just going on and leaving reviews for you, and
Mm.
um,
Like
they don't find them as credible. Yeah, they kind of see them more as fake. So
That's good to know.
the more verified you have,
Uh-huh.
the better off you are. But that's not to say when you're launching a product that you can't do some for a lower price just to get things rolling.
Mm-hmm. So actually, that's good to know, John, because somebody yesterday asked me about that, and I told them that as long as they're buying it, it's a verified review, because I thought unverified meant that if I went onto your product without buying it and left a review, that would be unverified because I didn't actually purchase it.
it's actually the
Sure.
same.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It used to be that way where if they paid for it, it was like they all were verified. They just recently changed it where if it's not within a certain threshold, and obviously they don't make that threshold public,
Mm-hmm.
then they won't count it. But that's even that is subjective because we've had cases where it was discounted at more than that threshold and they count it as verified. It's kind of
Uh-huh.
some of them randomly get in and some of them randomly don't get in as well. So there's no set thing. Just be aware that that's happening right now
Okay.
and how it may affect you in the future.
That's good to know. When I first started, here's what I did, and you tell me if this is something you think that would be okay to do now. Is I contacted the folks through my friends and family. I wouldn't do family now, from what I've heard from Cynthia Stein, because I've actually had my parents review something, and that review got deleted because Amazon could tell that I was family because I had maybe sent them a gift, or even my brother-in-law and sister-in-law had tried to review something for me and couldn't. But I contacted some friends. I gave them the link with the either promo code, or actually some of them bought it full price, and I reimbursed them through PayPal later. Is that something that you guys would do now?
That's 100% against their terms of
Okay.
service. So
Okay.
in the terms of service, they say not to have friends or family purchase now.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the way Amazon's got a pretty good system now for finding out if they're somehow connected to you.
Mm.
So you have to be, careful with that.
Yeah.
It's technically against
Their rules say close friends or family, so it seems like it'd be hard for them to tell if somebody that's in my private label mentoring group, if they gave them the code or whatever. That would be kind of hard, but
as long as they do it like once for you. But if you have like 5 products and you've had the same 5 people,
yeah, that's good to know.
Okay. Do it. So
yep. All right, so I contacted, so I sent them the promo code again. So because of when I first started, I did it 3 years ago. I did family, but as we've been talking about, I wouldn't have family or very close friends do it. Now they could buy your product, but as far as reviewing, that's an iffy situation there.
Yeah.
So the 2 types of coupon codes, there's a single use in the group. I mentioned this a little bit ago. The single use codes is one that's like one and done. Once it's used, it's done. The group code is if you send it out to 20 people and they all had the same exact coupon code, then but the danger of that, there's no quantity limit. So again, if you had 100 in stock, somebody could buy all 100. I actually had a friend that I sent a code to, and I said you can buy 1. They bought 4 of my items, so that was a little frustrating. They got it for super cheap, but it's okay.
Ryan, with each one of these, there's different advantages. Obviously, the single use is what we use for 99% of the time. But if you're in a situation where you have a coupon code that's maybe a break-even coupon code that you'd like to try to boost your rank, then you're not afraid to give that out as a group code, because it doesn't matter how many people buy it, because you want to boost your rank. You can always turn the code off if you need to.
Oh, that's good.
after so many people have bought it also. So there's different
Right.
situations where each one is good, but John and I exclusively use the single-use code 99.9% of the time.
Yeah, I do too. So Audrey asked, so who do you ask then? That's a good question. I usually use these review sites that has a whole bunch of different reviewers, and these guys do too. So we'll get to that here in just a second. So how to create single-use coupon codes? Get this YouTube link. I don't know if I can post that. So since it's on there, you can take a screenshot of that or something. But that's a great video from Jungle Scout. Actually, if you just Google how to create single-use coupon codes for Amazon and YouTube, you'll come up with this video. But there's the link to it. Yes.
Do you know if that video, how recent it is?
It is. So here's what I did to find this. I Googled it and found an old one, and then the screen popped up and said, "This is an old video. Amazon has changed the settings, and so here's the new one." So this is the new one.
Okay, cool. Because they just recently changed things for the single use. You used to have to uncheck a box so that your code wouldn't display publicly on your product page.
Mm-hmm.
And they've kind of made it so that if you choose single use, it automatically does that for you now.
Oh, okay. Very cool. Yeah, so this had when I looked at this video, it showed the single use and the group and then none. So it did look different than I've seen.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the updated version then.
All right. Very cool. So review sites, and this is actually, something that when I started, I didn't even know. I don't know they existed 3 years ago, and this is actually something that Eric and John turned me on to and showed me ways to do this. So essentially, review sites are places that like Snagshout or Review Kick, Amazon Tracker. They have a group of buyers, and you guys can actually become a buyer too. It's pretty cool. You can get private label ideas through these, but you can get very cheap or discounted product if you become a buyer or become what they call a reviewer. So you'd be on the other end of it and getting free or cheap product in exchange for your unbiased review. And we've got a lot of free products by doing this. It's really pretty sweet. But it is, and these are within Amazon's terms of service. Anytime you do something, and Eric, you can explain this better than I can. Amazon has rules, and these review sites are within the rules, but Amazon can do anything they want at any time because it's their playground. So, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I can talk about that for a minute. I guess the biggest thing that you want to make sure is that the people that you have reviewing your products, if they're getting it at a discount, that they're putting that in their review that they've got it in exchange for a discount.
Right.
That's one of the biggest things that Amazon is really enforcing. If they don't do that, a lot of times they'll just remove the review, and it's kind of you just lost that review.
Yep, that's true. And they're in the terms of service, and I've been looking at before to get prepared for this. I was looking at the site that all these places refer to, and it says it must be an unbiased review. You can't tell somebody, I'm giving you this product or giving you a discount in exchange for only a positive review. It has to be that you disclose that it's unbiased, and the reviewer is supposed to put in the review at the end or somewhere in the review that they received this product in exchange for their unbiased review. So if you do those things happen, you're within Amazon's terms of service.
And I can tell you, just because that you gave somebody an item for free does not mean they're going to give you a 5-star rating.
That's true.
I can't tell you how many times people have given us 3 or 1 or 2 stars. Some people take it really serious, and other people are just on there looking to get discounted products.
Yep.
So you'll get a mixture.
That's true. It's frustrating when you think that they get something for free that they're gonna give you at least the benefit of the doubt there, but they don't.
Don't always look at that as a negative, though. They could be justified, and maybe you need to improve your product.
That's true.
So if you do get a negative review, or you start getting a bunch of them, look at what they're saying and see if it's justified or not. Maybe it's not justified, but maybe it is.
Yeah, because you definitely don't want to have a product that's very, very, very inferior, because you're just going to start getting bad reviews, and so nothing you can do about that. But change your product or get a new one. All right, so these are the ones that I'm aware of, and you guys are probably aware of even more, have heard of more. But Review Kick, that's by Greg Mercer from Jungle Scout. Snagshout, that's that Seller Labs, I think, that did that one. Amazon Review Club, they're on the left, and then Amazon Tracker. Are you guys aware of a whole bunch more?
These are the main ones I know of.
Okay, and I get emails all the time from people that said, hey, I have a group of people that, and these are emails through Amazon that say, I have a group of people, or I want to review your product. What do you guys do with those types of emails?
I know what John does with them. He deletes them. Ryan, it'll depend on how they approach me. Like, I had somebody a few days ago say they have 9,000 people
Wow.
in their reviews. So I was interested in maybe talking to that person. So basically I said, how do I get a hold of you? And what they do, which is not necessarily, I don't know if it's allowed from a buyer or not, but they basically send a PDF with their email address. You know, Amazon will let you communicate outside of Amazon. So,
Okay.
but most of the time I'll just basically say that we're not really interested in new reviewers right now at this time, but every once in a while when I see an opportunity like something like 9,000 people, I'll try to contact them.
Sure. That's good.
I mainly delete them because there's so many other options out there, and I haven't vetted them, and I don't have time to vet them most of the time, so just the honest reality about it. So I kind of just stick to what's working because I don't really need anything else at the moment.
Right. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to go through each one of these really quickly. Let's see here. My screen. All right. So the first one is Review Kick. This used to be free up until just a few weeks ago. It was sweet when it was free, but now they have different packages. The starter packages is $29 per month. I do believe they have a free trial. So if you guys are just trying, I think it might be 7 days. So if you're trying to launch your product and want to use something like this, most of them have free trials that you could just get your product going and not actually use the service or pay for the service. But these are pretty good things, and once you get a product going, you have another one, you're going to want to probably use the same service, or maybe you want to try different ones. I've done different ones, but the starter package for Review Kick is $29 per month. They allow you to have up to 3 products, and they allow you to do unlimited promotions within those products, unlimited amount of coupon codes. And what I like about Review Kick is it comes from Jungle Scout, and I really like Jungle Scout and Greg Mercer over there. So this is probably one of my favorite ones. Amazon Review Club, it's $19.99 per month. They give you unlimited products, unlimited promos. The huge con about this service, though, is you can't parcel out the code. So you can't, let's say that you want to do a certain amount, you want to give away 100 over a week's period, and so you want to do 15 a day or whatever. You have to sit there and watch people. You have to keep refreshing your screen and watch the people take the code, and then once you get to 14 or 15, then you stop it, and then you turn it on the next day. So that's a huge pain.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. But they're the cheapest option.
Don't do it.
Yeah, don't do that one. I've actually done this for one product, and it was a pain, but it was cheap. So if you're at your computer most of the day, and you can just remember to go back and check it every once in a while, it can be okay. But I'd probably rather pay the $29 for.
If you're on this webinar and you own AMZRC, you need to get that changed. You're losing business.
That's right. Oh man, and we'll get to what I mean about parceling out the codes here in a minute. Amazon Tracker, their basic one is $50 per month. They have bigger ones where you can like unlimited products or whatever, but their basic's $50. One product, you can give out 50 codes per month, which for like most products is not going to even be an option. You're going to need to go up to the $100 level. So Amazon Tracker is a little bit more pricey. And then last is Snag Shout. Theirs is $5 per snag, and a snag is giving out a promo code to somebody. So this is super, super expensive. I know I have this in the lessons, but I need to update the lessons and put these other ones in there because Snag Shout is, I mean, it's probably a great service, and I know the folks at Seller Labs, and they're great, but that's expensive. So, guys, what are your thoughts on those 4?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely used AMZ Tracker a lot. The thing about AMZ Tracker that we didn't really go into is it has a lot of other features other than just what we're discussing. So it seems like it'd be a lot, $150 or $100 a month, but with the other features that it gives you, as keyword rank. I mean, there's so many things. That's the one that we use the most of.
Mm-hmm.
UKIC. I know some of the guys in our group definitely like that also. So, and that gives you a different pool of people. So
That's true.
once you start doing multiple products, it'd be nice probably to go, have a couple options. Snagshow is just, I've never used that. I just feel like it's too expensive.
Yeah.
And the other one, I would pull my hair out, even though I don't have much anymore.
Amazon Review Club.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, so Eric mentioned Amazon Tracker, and it does do a whole lot more. I'm just coming at this from as far as doing giveaways and promotions, but it allows you to track your products with keywords, and it's pretty sweet. And so these guys go deep into the weeds on their products, and they've taught me a ton. John showed me a piece of software that showed me one of my private label products showed me that I was ranking like #1 for keywords that didn't even really make any sense. How did I do that? I have no idea. But he showed me that there's software out there that shows you every single keyword that your product ranks for and what page it's on. So that's really helpful. And these guys do a lot of tweaking on their listings, and so they need that data. And again, don't let this stuff get too overwhelming. Just get your product out there. Get your 3 to 5 reviews. If you want to do a whole lot more testing and tweak your listing, that's all great stuff to do, and we'll talk about that in the next webinar. But for right now,
Ryan,
you're just looking at doing giveaways. Yes, sir.
Obviously, review clubs are a great way to get launching a product. We use them personally all the time, as they help with getting it going. But can we talk about a couple of the things that people might want to be aware of that they may not be aware of?
Yeah, absolutely. And anything you can think of, like for people just starting out, let's say that they, just want to get their first 3 to 5 reviews, they may not want to do a review club. Are there any other options?
Well,
so please.
Well, just know that with the positive, there is some cons, and just to know what they are, and you can decide if the risk is worth it for you.
Yep.
But some of the things that you may not like about using a review club, and like I said, I use them personally, so I think the risk outweighs some of these cons, at least right now. We're converting over to some other stuff that we'll talk about a little bit later. But so one of the things you can't do with a review club is you can't build your own list of customers, because they don't have a way that they interface where you can collect your customers and then re-promote to them later when you have another product, except through their system where you have to pay them again to re-promote to possibly the same people again. Another thing to consider when using a review club is that you're pulling from the same pool of people as everyone else that's using them.
Yep.
So whether Amazon sees that as a bad thing or a good thing, I mean, right now it's not really a bad thing, but who knows, things could change in the future. So just be aware that that's happening, and just acknowledge that, and then again, weigh the risks, see if it's something you want to do. Again, I use review clubs. I'm not afraid of that right now. I don't think that it's gotten to a point where that's a problem, but just consider it.
Yep.
And then the other thing, you kind of alluded to it a little bit earlier when you said that you can also get products for free from other people by using the review clubs as a buyer. Just know that it's super easy for other sellers to see what products are being offered on there. So if you're concerned that someone's going to see your product, even though they probably can find it anyway on Amazon, if they're looking in that niche, just know that stuff is going to be publicly shown to other people that are buyers, and Amazon sellers can sign up to be buyers and see your stuff.
That's true.
So that's just a couple of the things to just be aware of when you're making a decision to use one of these review clubs. Just don't go in there and find out 6 months from now that those things are going on. That's happening, and just decide if the risk for you is worth doing it. It is for me right now. It may not be for you.
Right. So if review clubs weren't something they wanted to do, would there be another way that you would suggest getting started?
I think you could do any of the ways that you talked about on your previous screen as far as the external traffic.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think it hurts, even if you're doing the review clubs small scale, just to kind of get get it going, especially if it's your first product. Review clubs are probably going to be the most easiest way to start.
Yep.
Just as you're growing your business, grow your options.
Yep. That's great. Francesca asked if you can use review services for bundles, or is this just for private label? You guys want to answer that?
Yeah, you can use it for anything you want to get reviews for. So it can be a bundle. I mean, it can be it could even be a wholesale product. You're the only one carrying it. But
yeah, you wouldn't want to do it if there was other sellers on the listing, though.
Yeah.
Kind of like helping your competition out. But yeah, absolutely. Any listing that it's your listing and you're the only one on there, then you could use this for. So bundles would absolutely be fine. Cool. All right. Next is, all right, so how many to give away? And this is something that you ask 50 Amazon sellers, you're going to probably get 50 different opinions. But I'm just going to give my opinion, and these guys can jump in as well. I'd love to hear what their thoughts if they're comfortable. Basically, you need enough to get some momentum, and this so depends on your product. If you're in a very hot competition, like let's say that you were trying to sell Garcinia Cambogia, which don't do that, but if you were there, basically you look at the competition, look at how many the competition are selling, and you need to kind of match that for about a week or so. So if you're looking at somebody that's selling 3,000 in a month, then you need 800 or so a week. So you need to give away like 800 or so. So it just really depends on your competition. It depends on how many they're selling. So the biggest tool that I use for this is Jungle Scout, and if you guys are familiar with Jungle Scout, I'm sure, just look at how many, go look at the competition. It doesn't have to be the very top one. That's, if you're selling something and the very top competition selling 1,000 in a month, you might think, man, I have to give away 250. No, you don't have to. You can still sell a lot if you're on the second page, or there's still, look at the other people on page one. Not all of them are selling that many. If there's somebody, I was just looking earlier on for a cookware for camping, to use as an example, and there was a person that's had like over 1,300 units a month, but on the very same keyword, so on page one as well, there was somebody else that was closer to 75 a month. So just match, if you can match the velocity of somebody else that's in the position that you want to be in, then that's pretty much how you get started. Guys, anything else you want to?
What you just said, Ryan, that product sounds like an opportunity, because it sounds like it's hard to get on page one.
Right.
So that's pretty nice.
And so this just so varies by product, by niche. Essentially, like just the math there, if they're selling 100 per month, then that's 25 per week. So start with 25. Give away 25 in a week's time. I would divide that over a week period, so 7 or maybe 3 to 4 a day, and see how that goes. After that, as time is up, are you getting some organic sales? You'll probably get organic sales during your giveaway period as well. But if that you do your promo period and you're getting a few organic sales a day, you're where you want to be, then stop it. But the other thing to do is just test, tweak it, test, tweak again. These guys, John and Eric, they're always on the phone talking about products and tweaking their giveaways and doing new stuff. So any other thoughts on that?
I would say to err on the side of doing more than less. So what we found is if we basically give 100 products away in a week, for example, typically only about 50% of those people are actually going to leave a review.
Okay.
But depending on how many reviews you want to get for your product to start out with, will kind of depend on how many you want to give away to begin with. So.
That's good. Audrey asked, how long would you need to use a review club?
Well, a lot of them are monthly, right? So at least I would say start with a month and then see where your product is as you get close to the end of that month. And if you're going to be launching more products than just the one, then you're going to need it longer than that. But just kind of look and see how your product's doing when you're using the first month, and based on where you're at, if it's taken off and you don't need it anymore, then just cancel it and then just go back to it if you need it again.
Yep. That's good.
We're kind of in a position where we're launching stuff quite frequently, so we never cancel. We just need it.
Yeah, because you're launching product after product. So yeah, it just depends on if you're in the niche that you're doing and you want to continue launching products, or if you found a wholesale company that has several different products. You're starting with one of them, but you intend to launch a second one from them in another month or so, or whatever. Just then you might want to keep it going all the time if they have a bunch of products that you want to private label. All right, so now we're to John and Eric's mystery way. Essentially, John touched on it, and with these review clubs, you cannot grab people's emails. But if you're trying to build a brand, it's so crucial to be able to have your own list of people that you can market to. So I want to let these guys talk about that, and it's a really cool tool they came up with.
Let me share my screen here. Are we good? Can you see my screen?
Let's see. Let me stop presenting mine, and then you should be able to. Okay. They should be able to see yours now.
Okay.
At least a second. There's like a delay of about 10 seconds. Yep. All right. Cool.
Okay. So we'll just kind of go through this real quick, and then if anybody has any questions, we'll be sure to answer them. So we use, as we said before, review clubs and external traffic. But if you're using external traffic outside of like a review club, you don't necessarily want to send your traffic directly to your Amazon page.
And why is that?
Because if you just send a mass flood of traffic to your Amazon page and it doesn't convert, then your conversion rates to Amazon will look horrible, and they'll say, oh, this product isn't as relevant as we thought it was, and then you'll start your keywords that you're ranking for, like say you're selling this product here that's on this page, and I don't even know what it is, to be honest. Some kind of germ thing. Well, let's say that one of your keywords is germ thing, and you send a bunch of traffic to that, and they go and it doesn't convert for germ thing, then Amazon is going to start thinking, okay, this isn't as relevant as we thought it was, and they're going to push you down the ranks.
In the ranks, absolutely. And I want to pretend like you guys are in elementary school, never heard of all this stuff. So conversions, you probably all have, but just in case, because I know there's going to be people watching this later. He says conversions, he's talking about a sale. So if you have let's say you have 100 people that go to your Amazon listing, and you have only one person buy the product, then that's a conversion rate of 1%. Obviously, the higher of the conversion, the better. And so, as he's saying, if the people got there through a keyword called germ thing and they don't buy your product, then Amazon's going to rank you much lower, meaning like you're not page 1 versus page 5, for example. So you would continue to go down in page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, and still until people can't even find you for that keyword if it's not converting into sales. So that's why you don't want to send a mass flood of traffic directly to your Amazon page, because you want the conversion rate to be high.
We found that conversion is king.
Conversion is king. That's good.
Yes.
I like that term. Yeah, because that's the way it works for Amazon. They want buyers. They want people to go on your page and buy. And if people go on your page and buy, you're going to be more relevant for that search term, and therefore get rewarded with a better rank.
100% of the time, if our products start to lose, some sales velocity, we go in and look, and our conversion rate's down. Every single time. So
and where do you guys find that information? How do you find what your conversion rate is?
We look under our business reports in Amazon.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys go back under business reports, you can see your item by ASIN. Different ways to search for it, but then one of the columns is the conversion rate. All right, John. Sorry, I just wanted to clarify that, just in case there's anybody on here that maybe didn't understand those terms.
So one of the things that we started doing is creating landing pages and having kind of like the same thing as a review club, except it's our page that we're pushing people to with like a coupon offer. So we started out using someone else's software, and we just decided that it made more sense just for us to create our own. A lot of them have restrictions on how many projects you can do. So basically, that's how this extension pages kind of was born.
And they're very expensive.
Yeah.
The other services that you used before?
Yes.
So basically, guys, this he'll explain this and show this, but you're creating a landing page that you could send a whole bunch of traffic to outside of Amazon, like Facebook ads, Google ads, or whatever. You could send them to this landing page before they go to your product page.
And not only was it expensive to use the service, but you also had to pay for your own hosting. And our tool allows you to host your pages on our site, and there's no additional cost occurred for doing that.
That's cool. So they wouldn't have to like go through HostGator or something and get their own
and
hosting
then
account?
like you have to, with some of the services we were using, we had to like go and install stuff and do some technical stuff. This is what you see is what you get.
Oh, that's cool.
So like this is the main landing page. You can go in here and you can you put your logo here. You can reword this if you want. You put your product name in here, obviously. You can upload your own pictures. You can decide what your giveaway price is going to be, or your discount price, and then it actually will keep track of your coupons for you too. If you see here, we haven't gotten to that yet, but there's an Amazon codes file. You can upload your single-use coupons, so it'll automatically distribute them as people go to, like if you're doing a Facebook ad and they go to this page and they decide they want to redeem it, it'll automatically take care of that for you, so you're not manually sending stuff to people.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then we've got an area here that kind of, so it keeps track of the coupon code, so as people go to the page, they can see that it's going down. If you only offer a limited amount of coupons, it might make people want to jump on it faster. And you can just reload the coupons when you run out.
Wow.
So then it encourages them to leave a product review on Amazon. And then it gives them instructions on what to do with the coupon code. And this is a FAQ here. You obviously can change this. People might think it's a scam if you're doing it on Facebook. It kind of explains how the process works. So this is the main landing page. This feature here that we're adding, it's not quite ready yet. You can put your product URL in, and it'll automatically fetch your images. You can do it manually if you want to, like just by going here and doing it. That'll fetch it. And then there's a thank you page. So once they opt in, they'll be taken to this page. It'll give them the coupon code. And again, it'll give them the instructions on what to do and ask for the review.
So this runs automatically in the background.
Exactly. And then this is the email template also that they receive. And it's just, a generic thing. You can change this however you want. Obviously, you just have to leave the code thing in here so that they get their promo code. When they go to your landing page, there's an email pop-up that they can go ahead and put their email in to get the discount code. You can change the wording on that if you want to. And again, this is where you would upload your text file that Amazon gives you for your single-use codes. It's very similar to some of the other review club services as far as the uploading functionality. And
these are coupon codes that Amazon gives you. Go in the back end of your Amazon account under promo. Remember that YouTube video? We posted it in the chat there. That YouTube video gives you the instructions on how to create a promotion and then how to grab your one-time use codes that you would then upload to a site like this or to a review club site.
So John, one of the things you went over kind of quickly was the pop-up window. You want to tell the significance of what this is, what the whole point of this is. And what you get from people entering their email addresses.
Yeah, I was getting there, but yeah, good point. Let me just do the Facebook thing real quick, and then we'll jump right to that. Cool. So we also have this option here where you can put a Facebook pixel if you're doing Facebook ads. So what that allows you to do is retarget people. Like if you the review sites, there's no way. There's a one-time transaction. They apply for it. And then you're done until you decide to do another product on a review site, and then they reapply to it again, and then maybe you pick them, maybe you don't. The pixel allows you to try and retarget people that maybe weren't ready to try your product today, but maybe they'll be ready in a week or a month from now. You can retarget them using a Facebook.
And let me
post.
explain that real quick, John. So you guys know how if you go to Amazon and you're searching for a product to buy, and then later on, maybe you don't buy it, or even if you do buy it, later on you're on the internet and you're just surfing wherever, you see these ads pop up, or they'd be on the right-hand side that's the exact same product that you just searched for. You're like, how in the world does Google or this other web page know that I was searching for that item? It's kind of creepy, but it's just called Facebook. It's just called retargeting. And so, John, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if I go to your page, your landing page for your product to get a coupon code, but I don't do it, I don't get the code, and maybe I'm searching somewhere else on the internet, or actually it'd be on Facebook for this one. If I'm on Facebook later, your page will show up with a link to go back to your page, essentially, right?
Right. Yeah, it'll pop up as one of the ads on the side that they can see.
So it just follows you around on the internet. So it'll be a gentle reminder to your customers. Hey, you remember that coupon code site where you can get that free germ thing? It's still over there. So that's the powerful part of this.
And the thing about the retargeting too is usually the retargeting ads are a lot cheaper, and you've already got them into your pool once. So Facebook, I guess, decides to just charge a little less when you're retargeting.
That's awesome. Okay.
But I guess going back to what Eric had just mentioned about the email, when you're doing external traffic, unless you've got some kind of landing page, if you're just sending people directly to Amazon's page, or if you're using a review club to try and push traffic to your site, they really don't give you many options to capture email so that you can go back to those people again and again with future products or future discounts. So by using a landing page like this, you're able to capture the email of anybody that takes you up on your offer.
That's awesome.
And then, again, normally if you're using some of the other services that are out there, you'd have to have an email provider to be able to link in with, and you will need one even with our system, but our system collects the emails, and then you get to decide which email provider you want to use to import your customers into.
So you're meaning like Aweber, MailChimp,
yeah, so you're not, a lot of times with different services, you're locked into ActiveCampaign, you're locked into Aweber. That's the only offer that they let you link into.
Okay.
With this, you start building a mailing list, and then when you're ready to, you can import it into whichever provider you want to.
Oh, that's huge. Wow. So just to sum this up, and I think they're going to show more, but so let's say you go to a wholesale company and you see a product that they will allow you to do private label with, but they have a whole bunch more that are in the same niche. So you get this going, you have a list of people, then after your first product, let's say your list is now 100 people that are on your list, you're ready to launch product number 2, you just send an email out to these people with a coupon code, because you already know that they're interested in the products that you're doing. So this just makes it so much easier.
Exactly.
Well, do you guys have an example of what this landing page looks like, or is it like if I know this is the back end of it, but
yeah, I don't at the moment.
Okay.
Sorry.
So just so you guys know that this is like the back end of their software that they're developing. It's not done yet, but once you're done with this, this is just a what you see is what you get type editor, and then the landing page for your customers will look like that part where it says logo, get your coupon deal.
Right. Yeah, and you can change this up a little bit. This isn't public ready. It's just giving an example of what we're doing. It will be available probably in the next couple weeks, but
cool.
I just wanted to kind of walk people through another option that's out there that they can use.
Awesome. Did you guys do the pop-up thing that Eric said? I don't know.
As far as it's just a pop-up window, like it'll tell them right here. It says enter your email and grab your copy.
Okay, so that when they're on that landing page, it pops up with a window that tells them to do that.
Exactly. Yeah, and then
that's sweet.
They put their email in, and then they'll receive this email template automatically when they confirmed opt-in, and then and then they also get this thank you page with the coupon code.
Beautiful. So guys, I hope you see the power of this and understand what this is, how awesome this is. So if you're trying to build a brand around a certain niche, then you have a list, an email list of people that are interested in these types of products that you can go to again and again and again when you're launching a product and get it moving. So if you have already a built-in list of people, you can forget these review clubs, you can forget all this other stuff. You just use this because you already have a list of people that are interested in camping or in sewing or whatever it is that you can go back to and to launch more products. So you guys know that the power is in the list, and so building an email list is so huge if you're interested in making this a whole brand.
Yeah,
and I definitely wouldn't encourage someone that's just starting to use something like this. Like, wrap your head around some of the easier, low-hanging fruit options like a review club just to get in the game. And then as you grow, if it makes sense, as your business grows, then check out some of the other options where you can expand out into.
That's good. Eric, I was going to say real quick before Eric says something. Guys, I posted the Aweber form for you to. This is not available yet, but they're going to give some kind of discount for people. We're talking about that, but some kind of discount for you guys that are in the mentoring program. And if to sign up to be notified when this is available, go to that Aweber form and enter your email, and they'll send you information when this is ready. So, Eric, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say that if we would have this option available, like when we started, and thousands of giveaways, to think I could have thousands of email addresses.
Oh my gosh!
It's a pretty big advantage over to other people who don't know about something like this. So
absolutely,
be exposed to it. You know, when you're just starting out your journey for private label, it's pretty powerful.
That's awesome. John, do you have anything else to show them on this?
I mean, it's basically what you see is what you get. There's the tab options, and you can just modify things like we had discussed. If anyone has any questions, I'd be more than happy to go over something that maybe they didn't understand fully.
Audrey wants to know what it'll be called. It's called extension pages.
Exactly.
And these guys have a whole. They're coming out with Chrome extensions, and they're really super cool. But they have another business called Seller Extensions. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they have sellerextensions.com. So if you're interested in some of the other stuff they're doing, some of it's even related to private label.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as the reviews go, since we were talking about reviews, one of the ways to kind of gauge when we were talking about the sales velocity, how many do you decide you want to give away, competitors' reviews, and seeing how many are verified versus not verified. That'll give you an idea of how many potential giveaways that they're doing.
That's good. They have
we do. Yeah, I was like Ryan was just about to say. I think we do have a tool that kind of makes that easier, but you can do it manually too if you're just starting out and you have a small budget.
Yeah, it's called Review Spy. So in case, we didn't talk about promoting that, but in case they're interested in just checking it out, how would they find Review Spy?
On the seller
extension.
Same
main page.
Okay. All right. So it's sellerextensions.com. I'll put it in the chat here real quick. If you're interested in checking out what else they do. And support these guys for me. They're gracious to take time out of their day to hang out with me. So I highly recommend anything that they ever have. So, all right. So John, I want to go back to my screen here real quick.
Perfect.
And we're here at the end. All right, so that should be my screen now. Guys, we're at the end here. If you have any questions that we didn't get to or whatever, feel free to put those in there right now. Otherwise, I'm going to let these guys go and they can get back to their day. But we've hit Module 5, Getting Sales and Reviews. Looks like it might still be, there it is. Okay, Module 5, Getting Sales and Reviews is in the books. What's next? The last one, Module 6, where we talk about maintaining inventory levels and advanced strategies. And these guys, actually, why don't you guys tell me really quickly, since I probably won't bother you again, what would be with maintaining inventory levels? That sounds so like obvious, like it's easy to do, but
It's not.
talk about how you actually have to work at that.
Yeah, you know, you can be selling 5 a day of something, then all of a sudden your keyword goes from page 2 to page 1, and now you're selling 15 a day,
Uh-huh.
and here you thought you had enough inventory. So it's something you have to be on top of, for sure, because when you run out of inventory
Mm-hmm.
on a listing that you've got momentum, it just kills your momentum quickly. So
What's your tip for one or two tips for staying in stock?
Good, John.
I just buy a lot of inventory.
Yeah,
that helps.
I like to have 30 days of supply, minimum. John's.
What was that again?
I was saying I like to have 30 days of supply
30
minimum.
days. Okay.
Depending on, I mean, if it's a private label and it takes obviously 30 days to make, 30 days to get here, 2 weeks to get to Amazon, all that. Then you have to calculate that backwards. So
okay.
I could go into all that, but it'd probably take a little while.
Cool. I also we talk about in the lessons and think in my book too, but setting the inventory alerts on Amazon. So if you have a product and you want to get an email from Amazon when it hits a certain level, you can set that up automatically, and so that really helps me out a lot. But still,
Exactly.
you have to stay on top of it. So especially if you have several private labels. If you have one, it's much easier. But if you got several going, it's work. So.
For sure.
Awesome. We'll get into that next time, advanced strategies, but the next one is the last one of the series. So in the meantime, guys, just launch your product and get your first sales and reviews. Oh, John, Eric, thank you so much. Any other last-minute tips or anything before we let these folks go?
No,
Thanks for having
good.
us.
Thanks for having us. And
yeah, let us know.
Awesome. If you guys, again, sellerextensions.com if you want to see what they're doing with the stuff outside of selling on Amazon. They got some really cool extensions coming out, and so I'm really excited about this. The page with the landing page things. That's going to be really, really cool. That'll make a big difference. So, guys, thank you so much for being on with me on this Friday, and we'll see you in the next one.
Sounds good.
Thanks again.